I wanted to start off my talk with a short little story. I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but Uber drivers out here are nuts. I've had some crazy experiences with Uber drivers since we've been here. Had Uber drivers telling us pretty much their whole life story when the question started from, so what should we be doing here in Savannah? Well, I have 3 kids and I moved from Kentucky, and 30 minutes later we're at the hotel, barely said a word. But the Uber driver that really got me the most, and I had to tell this story starting out, was actually back in Salt Lake. Had to get to the airport, 3:45 in the morning. We had an early flight. And I get in the car, and I immediately realize that I'm in the car with a full-blown conspiracy theorist. I'm talking tin hat, everything, the whole 9 yards. And we start talking. She's telling me basically, she's like, oh, you're going to the airport, huh? I don't know if you realize this, but it literally costs $10 per flight for those planes to fly. They're ripping us off. They're scamming us. It's all going to come out soon. And I'm like, really? I'm like, you don't say. So we're just talking. So the conversation goes to, what do you do for a living? I say, well, I own an insurance agency. Oh, cool. What kind of insurance? Blah, 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 right? We all have this conversation pretty much every day. I'm like, well, health insurance, Medicare mostly. She's like, oh. She's like, I don't know if you know, but that's going to be going away in about a year. And I'm like, really? I'm like, I hadn't heard. And she goes, she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, you see all these hospitals we're driving by? They're going to be gone too. Nobody knows yet. It's going to come out in a few months. And I'm like, and so I'm getting a little agitated a little bit. I'm like, you're kind of telling me I'm going to be homeless. So I start pushing back a little bit. I'm like, actually, that's not going to happen. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm pretty plugged in. She's like, oh, no, you just don't know. She's like, don't worry. If you're fast about it and you listen to me, you'll be able to pivot in time. So just wanted to bring that message to start out the conference to say, from my Uber driver to all of you, there's actually no point of you being here. All right, guys, not only am I the first speaker, I'm also the MC of the event this weekend. So I'm super excited to be here. Thankful that you guys are all here, took some time out of your schedules, traveled to Savannah. We're going to have a great time over the next couple of days. But because I am strapped for time, we're going to move a little quickly through my presentation. We're going to talk about, on brand, how to build a 7-figure agency, okay? Let's kind of jump right in. When you're building a 7-figure agency, you need to be focused on, in my opinion, aggressive marketing and promotion. All right, so what is the definition of promotion? I don't think this is something that people think about enough, right? People think about marketing, people think about advertising, but they don't think enough about promotion for your business. And one thing I want you to walk away from this weekend understanding is that it's vital that you are the biggest promoter of your business. What's the definition of promotion? Activity that supports or provides active encouragement for the furtherance of a cause, venture, or aim. What is your cause? What is the mission of your business? Have you ever asked yourself this question before? What's the mission statement for your company? Why do you do what you do? And don't tell me it's just to make money, because that gets old relatively quickly. Agree or disagree? What's your purpose? What's the purpose of your company? And when you fully identify that, you're going to have a much easier time communicating that to the masses through your promotion. And promotion comes in a lot of different forms. It comes through advertising. It comes from marketing. But you need to embrace the role of promoter in your business. How can you best articulate it to the world? You can best articulate it to the world by understanding it yourself, your mission statement. They hate us because they ain't us. The biggest pushback I always get when I talk about promoting your business is people being afraid of criticism. Anybody ever had that fear before? I think if you're not raising your hand, you're just not being honest. I think everybody's had that fear at some point. But in order to actively get the type of promotional results that you can by being a promoter in your business, you have to understand you're going to get a lot of hate, you're going to get a lot of pushback, you're going to get a lot of criticism. Embrace it. Seek it. Because if you don't have it, you know you're doing something wrong. The great Aristotle once said, there's only one way to avoid criticism. Do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. So ask yourself this. Am I getting criticism from time to time in my business? If the answer is no, it's like, no, everybody loves me. Everybody's stoked about me 24/7. Might want a little bit of criticism in there because that's a sign that you're pushing hard enough in your promotion. Seek it out a little bit. It's a sign that you're doing something correct. A sign of no hate is also a sign that you aren't promoting your business hard enough. That's what I've come to realize over the past couple of years. It used to bother me when people would post in insurance forums about me and be like, oh, 7-figure Medicare agent, Christian Brindle. Now, someone will send it to me. I'm like, yeah. I'm like reading like 15 straight comments about what a shithead I am. I'm like, give me that. Give me more. Give me more. Amen, brother. It's also a sign when you get no hate that, you're not promoting hard enough. So let's talk about retention now, okay? Because we talk a lot about growing your business. I think we can all agree that we're in store for a crazy AEP. How many can agree with that? I would say the craziest AEP that I personally have ever experienced, I believe, is coming this year. So we've got to talk a little bit about retention. I put together a little bit of a formula for you guys that has worked really well for me and something that we kind of look at and think about internally when we're trying to service our clients, keep our clients happy, and keep them on the books. I like to call this the 20-60-20 rule, okay? I'm a big believer that if you look at any book of business, you're going to have a breakdown of people's temperatures about how they're feeling about you and your business. And I would break it down in this way. The top 20% is going to be your diehards. These are the people that are going to shout your praises from the rooftops, right? We all have those, right? I had a client one year, put her on a D-SNP plan. At the time, there was only one D-SNP plan in Utah. And no one had told her about it. She got all these crazy benefits. I found out she went and had a bunch of professionally made flyers made for me in the business without me knowing. Was driving around to like laundromats and putting them up. We started getting some calls. I'm like, where did you hear about us again? Because we're very good at finding out where people came from. That's the only way you know what's working. But I'm like, where did you hear about us again? A laundromat flyer? Yeah, that's not me. Are you sure? I'm like, it's almost like I'm trying to talk myself out of the sale, you know? But then I found out it was this lady and, she was a diehard, right? You have your diehard clients. These are the ones I would describe as clients that you're never going to lose. You have to do something really bad to lose them. They're sold on you. You're their person, right? Now, of course, there's always something you can do, but they're going to stick with you through thick and thin unless you do something horrific. Then you have your middle section. I'm going to call these your vanillas. I call them your vanillas because it's relatively average of their feeling towards you. They like you, they like your service, they like doing business with you, but if you do make a mistake or they find a better product, there's a chance that they might leave. Now, the majority of your vanillas will probably stick with you if you do a good job or halfway decent job, but they're not diehards, right? Your bottom 20% of the transactionals. These are the people that will change on you for nothing. I've said it often about D-SNP members. They'll change on you for a cookie. These are your transactionals, right? So when you're talking about servicing and maintaining a book of business, you have to look at it from the perspective of, I'm not catering just to my diehards. I'm not thinking with just the diehards mentality when I'm talking about retention. I'm also trying to keep as many of my vanillas and my transactionals as possible too. How do I keep those people? And when you figure that out, that's when you get a 95% retention rate. And the answer to that is constant touch points. This AEP is going to be very important for touching your clients. Relatively consistent touch points with them. Talking about sending them letters, mailers. I'm talking about sending them emails consistently. What we have done every AEP, and we're probably going to even take it up a notch this AEP, is we send 3 letters. We send one that goes out usually the end of August that hits maybe sometime in the beginning of September. And more or less what this letter says is open enrollment's coming. You're going to start getting advertised to. Don't worry. We're your representative. We're your advocate. And we're going to be reaching out to you with changes once we have them. Just relax, more or less. Then we send out another letter that gets there first week of October that tells them a little bit more about their specific plan changes once we know them, their ANOCs, things like that, telling them that their ANOCs are coming in the mail or they should already be there by that point. Then we're scheduling emails to go out with specific information about that person's plan's ANOC. For people that we have a lot of people on one plan, we might even record a video going through the ANOC and link the video. So touch points, guys, touch points. We also make it a habit as much as we possibly can. It's harder and harder the more clients you get, but to make outbound calls to our Medicare Advantage clients and just kind of walk through with a script what they need to know. And by doing these processes, by automating some of this, by sending out these letters, specifically the emails, we get a humongous amount of people every year that will come back and say, I'm either good with my plan or I'm not good. But the people that come back and say, I'm good, we can cross them off our list. We're automating it a bit, right? Some of you are having a lot of unnecessary conversations, and it's keeping you from getting new business. Doesn't mean that you should not want to have conversations with your clients, but some of them just want to know the bullet points. A lot of your vanillas just want to see the bullet points. If you're getting that to them early and often, some of them might come back and be like, hey, Christian, thanks for sending this. I'm good with my plan for next year. I'll call you if I need anything. Saves us time. But creating this and understanding that you need to be catering to your vanillas, to your transactionals. A lot of you are just catering to your diehards. And it's why your retention isn't as good as it could be. You should be aiming, in my opinion, for 95% retention rate. And it's very easy to do if you look at this from the right lens. Multiple touch points. Touch points, touch points, touch points.
This video is sponsored by none other than Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes is going to be your one-stop shop when it comes to your Medicare and final expense needs. People ask me all the time, Christian, what type of lead is going to be the best quality for me to work? And I don't really quite know if the answer is going to be a digital marketing lead, a direct mail lead, or a telemarketed lead, but I can say that a telemarketed lead is going to be up there with the best of them in terms of quality. A telemarketed lead has unique quality to it because there's a live person that actually speaks to the prospective customer and gets their verbal consent that they're interested and willing to speak with a licensed agent just like you. Whether it be a pre-scheduled Medicare appointment with a scope of appointment captured and then scheduled on your calendar 48 hours out, or whether it be a custom calling campaign where you call the shots, where your scripts are used, where it's the areas of your choosing, when it's the times of the day that you're choosing. Custom calling is where you pay by the hour, and essentially it's a custom campaign built to your liking. Lead Heroes has got you covered for all of these unique type of marketing needs for agents. There's a link down in the description of this video about Lead Heroes. You can learn more about these incredibly unique lead generation services, and I think you'll want to check it out today so you can continue to grow and explode your business.
Invest profits back into the business and build infrastructure. I cannot tell you how much this has done for us. there's been so many times where we'll invest into something, whether it's a marketing campaign, whether it's a new system, whether it's a new process, maybe it's hiring a few new people. And the cost seems crippling at the time. Scary. We've all had that feeling, right? But you can't grow without investing into your business. And I talk to people all the time that are doing fantastic, but they could be doing so much better because they're a one-man show and they don't want to grow. If I want you to walk away from this conference with anything, it's look to build a company. Don't look to just build a practice where you're a great agent, but look to build a company, an organization. Because organizations can survive disruption better than individuals can. Team building. What should you look for in a team? How many can attest that our team did an amazing job hosting this event? Amen to that, right? Terrific, fantastic. Our team knocks it out of the park every year. This event would not be possible without them. What should you look for in team building? Well, you should try to hire to replace yourself. What tasks are you doing on a day-to-day basis that someone else could come in and do probably better than you? Because if you ask yourself a question, you might not like the answer. But that question is, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis that's causing you to be stretched too thin? And you're not doing as good of a job as somebody else could do if they focused on it completely. There's probably a lot of things if you made a list. So what could you replace that you're doing right now? I encourage you to make a list in order of what you feel like is the most urgent for you to replace, and then work down the list. And that's been our mentality in building the company. What can we take off of Christian's plate or Glenn's plate? Glenn had a lot off his plate when we merged, so he was doing a much better job at this than I was at that point in time. I'm getting there. Promote from within. When your company grows, when your organization grows, you'll have more responsibilities available than might have been available previously. Some people will go out and when they have a new position open up, maybe it's a more lucrative position, maybe it's a position with more responsibilities, but they'll go out and hire a brand new person for that. To me, that's a mistake. Reward the people that have been good for you and your business, that have done great work, promote from within, and then replace duplication on what they're doing. So create a culture of duplication. So when a new position becomes available, empower and promote, and that person will train the person that's taking their old job. Duplication. Duplication is how you really scale an organization. You need to create an atmosphere where everybody can win. People get excited when they're in an atmosphere where they feel like they can grow, where they feel like there's opportunity for them, where they feel like they're part of something big. So find ways to introduce that to your team. Make them feel involved. And you might be amazed with the results that you get and people that are willing to work very hard for you and help you with your business. Care and mentor. When you hire employees, you want to make sure that you're caring about them. This might sound cliche, might sound cheesy, but you really want to make sure that you're investing into them, right? People should walk away with more than just a paycheck when they work for you. They should be able to grow as a person, as an individual, as much as they want to. And in addition to that, value, intelligence, ambitions, skill sets. There's certain things that I look for, and this is what they are. I used to look for certain personality types. Don't get me wrong, personality types matter. I think you want certain personality types in certain roles. But to me, there is nothing better to have in a team member than ambition. I want an ambitious person. I want them to be smart. I want intelligence. And I want somebody that's got skills. I want them to be skilled at something more so than even I am. Even if it's something I'm good at in the business, I'm willing to bet I can find someone that can do it better than me. I built our websites. for years. I built our funnels for years. And I was good at it, but I wasn't great at it. So we needed people that were great at it. I was good at contracting when we were building the FMO side of the business. Wasn't great at it. Any of you that have been with us since the early years can probably attest to that. It's better now, right? Acknowledge people's ambition, intelligence, skill sets, and that's what you should really prioritize in hiring people. And then, of course, back to the promotional side of things, promote buying into the cause, venture, or aim. Communicate this actively with your team. Make sure that your team understands what is the cause, what is the purpose of the business, and that this is the fight that we're all in together. Take risks. Take that exact risk. No, just kidding. This is meant for entertainment purposes only. I take no responsibility. That's Glenn Shelton. This one, I considered not putting in the slide deck, but I'm going to anyway. It might sting for some. Nobody will ever build a seven-figure agency if you're not willing to take risks. If you're constantly looking to play things safely all of the time, your potential of growth is going to be limited. It's going to have a ceiling that's probably lower than you want. Sometimes you have to take a chance on something. Maybe it's a new system that's going to cost a fortune for your business. Maybe it's going to completely take something in your business offline for a little while. Maybe it's going back to the start and kind of reevaluating a process when things are going well, but you know they can be better. I watched a movie a couple weeks ago. I haven't watched it in a while. The Founder. Anybody seen this movie? McDonald's movie? It's terrific. There's a scene where McDonald's brothers, they have a really good process going with their first restaurant. Everything's going well, but they know it can be better, so they completely shut the restaurant down. And they spend, I believe it's a few months, redoing the process, bringing in no revenue, keeping all their staff on payroll. Risky. You have to be willing to take risks. Risk takers are rewarded big, by the way, when they pay off. They're rewarded exponentially. And you can build a good business by not taking risks, but you can't build a great business unless you're willing to take some risks. Sometimes you need to be willing to get punched in the face. And it's going to hurt. And you're going to remember it, but you're going to be better for it, and you're going to know the right way to do something next time. Risks are good, but you don't always have to hit the home runs. Sometimes singles and doubles score points too, last time I checked. As you guys grow, invest in speed and efficiency in processes. This is something that we've been heavily focused on over the last couple of years. We're looking at ways we can automate things. We're looking at ways we can make things easier, less complicated for everybody, not just for me, not just for Glenn, but for our team, for our clients, for our agents. How can we make things as easy as possible? And sometimes you need to invest in different processes in order to make that happen. Embrace and invest in technology. How many people in the room feel like they could use technology a little bit better in their business? Just a little bit. Probably most of us. I'll raise my hand too. Technology is ever changing, as we know, so you always need to be thinking ahead. What is the business going to look like 3 years from now? What's the industry going to look like 3 years from now? What can I be doing in my business today so I'm a little bit ahead of a lot of the competition? How can I bring in new technology? How often am I looking for new technology solutions that not everybody's aware of? Because with a lot of things, guys, a lot of us are seeing things shared in Facebook groups, online communities, things like that are hot trends. But for a lot of things, once they become mainstream and there's everybody using it, it's not probably as effective as it would have been 6 months before when not as many people are using it. So be thinking ahead. Try to think 2, 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. Delay your own rewards. This is such a big one. Do you need a new car? Maybe. Do you want a new car? Yes. Can it wait a year or two so you can put that money back into your business because you know where you'll be in a few years from now if you do? This takes tremendous mental willpower to be able to delay your rewards. And it's not for everybody. But if you want to build a business that's going to crack that 7-figure mark, this is something you absolutely have to do. I have somebody who's been a bit of a mentor to me over the years. We used to talk pretty often years ago by the name of Dante Cantu. Who knows Dante Cantu in this room? If you don't know Dante Cantu, absolute legend in our space. He built a call center, sold it to eHealth for multiple 8 figures several years ago. He's back in the industry now, and just a wonderful human being. But I'll never forget, Dante Cantu told me one time, when they were early in the years of building their business, we were on a phone call. By the way, he was at his daughter's birthday party, if I remember right, and he went into the car to talk to me, which I didn't know at the time. I felt horrible. But that's just what a great human being he is. You know, he's very giving. But what he told me one time is, in the early years of his career, he went on a date night with his wife, took her out to dinner, and took a look at the menu, looked at the prices, and looked at her and said, I can't justify spending this right now. This money needs to go back into the company. And according to him, his wife was very understanding, and they went somewhere cheaper. Not too many of us would do that. Some of us would be like, you know what, I got this. I'm just going to pay for it. Even if you have that thought. And that always stuck with me. Delay your own rewards as much as you possibly can, because the disciplined are the ones that build the 7-figure companies. Protect your time or don't grow. Move a little quicker because I'm running out of time. You have to protect your time. How many in this room know how much an hour of your time is worth? Have you ever calculated it? Every hand should have gone up when I said that. So figure this out. How much is an hour of your time worth? Every hour that you waste on frivolous things, that's how much revenue you're losing. You have to think that way. Think bigger, expand. And that's what I got for you guys today.